Hi, in this session I will be discussing about Warehouse Activity Monitor. So in this session we will discuss about the function of the Warehouse Activity Monitor in Warehouse Management with SAP R3, and we'll be discussing how to use it. So to understand what is an activity monitor or what is a Warehouse Activity Monitor. So as we know that in a warehouse there are several transactions that are being carried out at any given point in time. So there could be transfer orders, transfer requirements, post change notices, and so on. So Warehouse Activity Monitor provides us an easy report of the statuses of the transactions that have been initiated and have surpassed a critical duration of time that has been defined in the configuration, meaning it tells us if certain process has become critical based on the time critical time that we set up. For example, if you are doing a put away operation, you have created a incoming transfer order and the put away is yet to be done, meaning the transfer order is yet to be confirmed. So how long the transfer order once created can remain safely open, how long you can let the goods be in the goods receipt area and not in the put away. So different organizations have different time frames and timelines to actually do the confirmation of the transfer order or complete the process that has been initiated. So in a Warehouse Activity Monitor, you can keep a watch on what is pending, what has become critical based on the time frame that has been set critical for a particular process. So the Warehouse Activity Monitor is an instrument for monitoring warehouse movements. It informs you of the processes that have failed to run completely or have run with errors and offers you the opportunity to create or correct missing documents or carry out posting activities that complete your processes. The Warehouse Activity Monitor contains 7 objects for monitoring. Each object has 2-character numerical key. So standard SAP has already defined these objects. These objects are from serial number 1 to serial number 7, and they take care of the objects or the documents that have been defined against each serial number. So 01 object takes care or informs about the unconfirmed transfer orders. 02 informs about open transfer requirements. 03 informs about open post change notices, then open deliveries, and so on. So we have 7 objects that SAP has defined as standard, and this is how we use it. We do not change this. We will use it as it is. So along with these 7 objects, we have 7 different programs that would be required to run each time we would want to get the report. So typically all these programs, for each object we have one program. So for 7 objects we have 7 programs. You can make out the difference: RLL01 SE, 02 SE, 03 SE, and so on. You don't see a 05 SE over here, but it is there. The program is there in the system, and we can check in the system. That is for negative stocks. So typically for each warehouse that we design, if we want to set up the Warehouse Activity Monitor, we would be creating variants of these programs for our respective warehouse, and these would be run as a batch job. The batch job typically would be for a time frame of maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on how the organization wants it, but essentially it would be run as a batch job. So let us check in the system how this is set up and how to create a variant for this so that we understand the functionality better. So I am in SPRO, Logistics Execution, Warehouse Management, Planning and Monitoring, Warehouse Activity Monitor. So I will quickly show you how this is done, or what is the concept behind this configuration. So in Activate Warehouse Activity Monitor objects, you would see that the objects that are standard with 0, 1 warehouses get copied to your respective warehouses. So there would be 7 objects for each of the warehouses. So for example, this is for 0, 0, 1. So we check for 0, 1. And we check for our warehouse as 0, 1. So you would see similarly for S for 0, 2 as 0, 1. So these monitor objects which we saw, like for transfer order, transfer requirements, these 7 objects would be already copied for your warehouse. You can just check or have a look before going ahead with configuring the warehouse activity monitor. After this, let us check the define critical parameters node. Here we have the 6 parameters, and here basic concept is that we define the critical duration after which the specific object, if left open, would turn critical. So by default we have this setup for each warehouse. For the movement types, we have the critical duration point 0.1 hours, and it depends on how your organization would want to set up, how the warehouse you are designing would want to set up. So for example, if you have an inbound process and you would want to specify certain number of hours for which the transfer order could remain open, and post that the system should show it as critical. For example, in some warehouses they have a third-party operator operating the warehouse, and since the items are pretty huge, they would take some time to put away in the bins. So in that case, if a transfer order is created, it may remain open for up to 24 hours or maybe up to 48 hours. So organizations would do an agreement with them saying that it should be put away. The items that have been received should be put away in the bins in 24 hours. Or in 48 hours. So what you can do is that you can set up a critical duration such that the warehouse supervisor, when he runs the activity monitor report, he gets an idea that this particular transfer order, which is for incoming put away process, has been left open for a certain number of hours. So instead of having set this as 24 hours or 48 hours, we can set this for 5 hours or 6 hours, so that it gets critical and he has time to act on it. So at this time, or the standard, as per the standard, it has been kept 0.100, but you can change the way you want. Similarly, for different processes, you can define for how long these transfer orders, once created, need to be or can be safely kept open, and after which they would turn red, so that in the monitor you would see that they have turned red. So before anything, I would just like to show you how the report looks before we run the warehouse activity monitor variants. So the transaction code is LL01, and I will show you in a different warehouse how the original activity monitor report runs. So I am using a warehouse SAM, and initially, if you don't run the report, the programs, it looks like this. So for each object we would need to run a report, which we just saw. So these are the reports that we need to run, and once we run these report for each object, so for each object we have a different report. So once we run this report, then whatever open transfer orders, transfer requirements, or any other open documents are there, they will be captured in the warehouse activity monitor report. So this is the initial condition, and this is the initial report without the specific objects being run. So what we need to do is, for each specific object we will run the specific report of the object. So I go to SC38, and this is the program that we need to run. So there are similar such 7 programs or 7 reports that we run, and which cumulatively gives us the end result in the warehouse activity monitor. So what these programs do is that these, when we run them, when we execute them, these will capture the open objects related to this program. So this program is for capturing open objects like transfer orders. Then we have 02, which is for transfer requirements, and so on. So what we need to do is we execute this, and you get an option to put in the warehouse. So right now I am running, and so I have run for a unconfirmed transfer order. So now if you see, in LL01, you will see that the program, the report, the warehouse activity monitor has captured the unconfirmed transfer order. So there is one unconfirmed transfer order with movement type 501, which I just created to show how the program captures. And also in the critical time, I put the critical time as 1 minute because I wanted to capture this here. So as you can see, I have changed this to 1 minute. So this I did just to capture the unconfirmed transfer order that I just created with movement type 501. And I chose the SAM warehouse before this because once I capture this, then this turns red, then there is no way I can turn it green unless I process this transfer order. So I just wanted to show how this is, how the system captures, and how, what is the initial condition and what is after the where report is run. So typically this report, the report for the object, that the program that we ran, the 7 programs are typically run with variants in the background. So the time frame could be 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes, it scans the entire system for that specific warehouse and captures the documents that are open. And whenever you open this program, this report, warehouse activity monitor report in LL01, you would see all the documents that are open. So here you can check the transfer order number, and if you want to process, you can process this here itself. So you can check the information and all, and if you want to process this transfer order here, then you can just confirm this from this place, depending on how the warehouse supervisor would want to do it. So this is basically how the warehouse activity monitor functions. We would have to set up variants for the warehouse activity monitor so that all these variants are captured and they are turned into batch jobs, so that this warehouse activity monitor can automatically give the updated results for each of these objects, because the processing of that particular object, running of the program for that object is important, so that warehouse activity monitor can capture it. So what we need to do is, I will show you how to create a variant for one of the objects. We'll go to SC38 and say, for example, this is the program for unconfirmed transfer order. So I select variants, I go to change. Here I give a variant for S01. I'm creating a variant of this program in my warehouse S01. So I would give a description or a variant name as S01 TO or anything. and I create. Once I create, it asks me the warehouse number, and in the attribute I give the description as the same name as the description, and then I need to save this. Note that this variant is just saved in this client, so in every client you would need to create the variant till the production box. Once this is saved, so you create a similar variant for unconfirmed transfer requirements. So once again I go to change, and I give the description whatever you want, unconfirmed. So this time I give unconfirmed TR, and I create. I give the warehouse number, attributes, unconfirmed TR. So I am done with another variant. So similar to this, we have to create 7 variants for 7 programs. And once you are done with these 7 variants for these 7 programs, then you need to give this to your basis team to set up the batch jobs. Once the batch jobs are set for a specific timing, depending on how the business wants it, then you can check the result in LL01 for your warehouse. So basically the warehouse supervisor is able to check this result every half an hour. Whenever the program captures, he would get a refreshed data over here every half an hour, or whatever the frequency that has been decided for running of the batch jobs. And for the timings or the critical parameters, critical timing that need to be set up, business would typically give the requirements, basically depending on what kind of processes they follow and how critical a particular process is. So every time the open transfer order surpasses that particular timeline, the system would capture it and this would turn red. And this is how the warehouse activity monitor typically is used. So thus we have seen how to configure the critical parameters and how to use it for specific warehouse processes, and what are the programs that we use for configuring the variants. Now let us see how to create a report variant. So basically, to see the status of the warehouse activities, when we run the warehouse activity monitor in LL01, you would see the status of all the different objects that have been pending or have become critical based on our config settings. So in case you want to specifically look or monitor a certain activity, like let's say a goods receipt activity, so you can create a report variant so that you could just check and monitor the goods receipt activity. So let us see how to create a variant that would allow you to do allow you to monitor exactly what you want to monitor. So I'm in SPRO, and we will see here how do we configure the variants, but the bottom line or the understanding here is that the batch jobs that we just discussed need to be set up, and they need to run at periodic intervals so that the system captures the latest data. So I am in logistics execution, warehouse management, planning, and monitoring. So we have basically discussed all this. Now let us go and check the report variants. So in this example, let us try to create a variant which would help us to check only the inbound activities, for example. So what we can do is we define a variant over here. So let us define a variant for the inbound movement types. So I gave a goods receipt. I create a goods receipt group. I would create a group, say 0, 1 or 11. So here I can give the movement types for which I would want to restrict the search or restrict the display. So I can go here and give the movement types 101, 102, 103. This is all the forward and reversal movement types. Also I can choose 501 and 502. So these are my inbound movement types and the cancellation movement types together. So I can create a variant for these. Also I would want to display something in the interim storage types for the inbound goods receipt. So I can choose 901 and 902. So 902 is for external vendor, for purchase orders from external vendor. 901 is for the internal procurement. So I just want to display this and the movements, the TOs with this movement, unconfirmed transfer orders with these movements. So I would remove all these and I would go ahead and create the attributes. I would just give a description, say and save this. So now when I run this report, I should only see the unconfirmed transfer orders and nothing else. So let us try to see how this looks in the system. I'll go back. So here I am in LL01, and as you remember, before setting up this group, we just directly went inside and we didn't give a variant over here. So now we can give the variant which we created right now, which is a GR group 11. So for this warehouse, we can run this variant and specifically monitor the inbound. So now you can see the difference. You get the same result for the transfer orders because there are no more transfer orders that are unconfirmed. But now you can see that nothing else is displayed. So you can focus on the report that you want. In case you want to check how it looked before giving this variant, you might recollect that it was this way, and so everything was displayed. So this is another way of using the report, and you can just create a variant and display the activities, the critical processes that you want. Coming back to the report variants node, we have defined variant for selection programs, wherein we can see the reports in one screen, and it would be possible that you create the variants for all these reports in this node as well. We have just done it using SE38 and using each one of this program. So you can create the variant the way you want for your specific warehouse. So for example, I had just created unconfirmed TO. I'll just give 1, and then you create and give a warehouse number, you maintain the attributes and so on. So just wanted to mention that I won't save it now, that you can either do it at this node, the transaction is OML2, or you can very well use SE38 and create the variant. The process remains the same. You would have to create variant for your specific warehouses for all these reports, and then you would need to set up the batch jobs for these all the variants that you have created. So for example, I'll just show you an example. Let's say you would want to set up a batch job. Typically this is set up by basis people, but let's say you want to set up a batch job for the program. This is the job name, and we would give the ABAP program over here, and then for example we have created a variant for this. So I will just save this. I've just saved I've connected the program and the variant, and I've just saved the step. And let us set up the batch job. So this is the job name, and we have created the step inside. So we have to give a start condition. If you want to start immediate, we can select immediate, or we can give a date and time. I can give a date and time. So let us see. I give some date and time. This is to be set up based on the go live date, or depends, but if you are doing in your development box, then you can choose the way you want it. And then if you want to run it as a periodic job every hour or every week or every month, you can give the selection here. But here you can give a selection of every hour, but I would assume that you would be setting up this for your own testing. Typically basis can do this to set up as a batch job, or in Control M, wherein they could set up a different frequency, like 15 minutes or 30 minutes, the way you want. We won't get into those details, but this is just information so that you could try this and test this. So I'll just come out. I'm not going to save this, and let us so I'm out. I'll just save this. I think I've lost what I created, so I'll just give this once again. I've created a step, and we have successfully created the job, and the job is released. So now if you want to have a look at this job, you can go to transaction SM37. The transaction is SM37. To find your job, I would check what all is scheduled till 9th. I can give the program, so you can find now your jobs are already there and released. So this was about creating a specific variant for the group that you would want to monitor specifically, and also we just saw how we can create a variant for a batch job, and also how to create a batch job for an activity monitor.